Hello and welcome to another video on our multiplayer course. In this video we will make our scoring system and we will make a tank that destroys the other tank receive a score, and then this score will be displayed on the UI. So how do we receive a score? Here on the event any damage, when the health gets 0 and the tank is destroyed, here the damage causer, which will be the owner of the projectile. Here the projectile, when we where's the damage, here the damage causer is the owner of the projectile, which is the client that shows the projectile. So we send a message here to this actor contains this score. And how do we make it receive it? By a user interface, sorry, not user interface, by an interface which will receive the score. Then we put the score in the player state and then use that player state to display the score on the user interface. So now let's start by applying the score. Like I said here, to the damage causer, first we need to make a new interface. Go to the interfaces and make a new blueprint interface. Call it BPI underscore scoring system, or get score, or get score. Now let's open it. Also the new function, also make it get score. The input will be float. Let's call it score. And where we will implement this get score, we will implement it in the in two parts. One in the player here, and the other one in the player state. So let's drag here and look for get score, the message here. Let me just organize the nodes. Now here the score, let's promote it to a variable and call it score on kill. I will make it by default as 1. So this score on kill, the score value that you will add to the score in the player state. Now first let's implement the interface. Let's call it get score. Don't worry that we will use the interface into blueprints, because it will not it depends on the target. Here we are sending it to the actor that destroyed this tank, and then we will send it to the player state. Now let's implement the interface here. Let me move it here, put it below the damage, or make it okay here better. Here I will not set the score here. I will also send it to the player state. Let's get player state. First let's get Let's make a custom event because I want this to happen on the server. Uh, well, what we update player state score. It is better to like I said, to store the score in the player state, because if your tank is destroyed, if you are saving the score in the player pawn, so the score will reset to 0. But if you store it in the player state will not destroy when the player is destroyed, so it will keep the score the same and will not lose the score in the game. So here let's don't forget to make it run on server and reliable, and add an input as a float, call it score. Now here in the player state, first let me go to the player state. Where is it? Let's open the blueprints, the main blueprints, the tank player state. Let's open it and go to the class settings and implement the interface get score. Here in the get score, let's implement the interface and make a new variable here, call it total score, or current score, and let me call it current score better. Now for the current score, also make it replicated, and let's make a custom event because we want it to happen on the server also. Server set score, make it run on server and reliable. Also make an input here, call it score. So here we will add the score value here to our score. Then we will set the score, we will save the score, setting the variable, meaning saving the variable. So here let's get the server score. I'll explain it when we finish. It looks slightly complicated, but it is simple. It is just sending the variable to the correct position or to the correct blueprint. Now let's comment here. Let's call it update score. Now let's go back to the tank blueprint. Here let's get score. And here server update player state score. Let's comment also update score. Now for this here, when we updating the score, well, here in the where's the player state here, we need to update the player controller and update the score in the player controller. So let's go back to the update UI, the update player UI, and add a new function called update score. Update score. So one input, which is a float, call it score. Now let's go back to the player state. Here, after server set score, let's look for is local controller is low. So let's get player controller and look for is local is local player controller branch. So now let's update the player controller. Let's look for update score. It is important to get the message. Always don't forget to get the message. Now let's put the current score here. Now let's go to the player controller. Where's the player controller? Here is the player controller. Let's implement the update score interface. Also, let's duplicate these, the branch and the is valid and the user interface, the UI instance or the UI blueprint. Here let's get score and set text. Let's connect the score here. Let me just organize the nodes and let's comment here update score value. Now let me just recap here on the event any damage. When the tank is destroyed, when the tank here is destroyed, when the health is below 0, we use the interface here get score to send the score to increase or to add to the damage causer, which is the owner of the projectile that destroyed this tank. So after we send it, it will go to the the other tank instance, which will be implement this interface, which will send it to the player state. Then in the player state, where's the player state? This one here. It will also set the score. It will add the score to the current score in the player state, and it will save it here and it will run this on the server. Then after we run this on the server, we check for the local player controller and send the score to the player controller to update the UI. Now let's test and see if everything runs okay. Now I will shoot the Amorak and destroy the other tank. Well, it is not destroyed. Let me slightly shoot lower. Well, it is now destroyed. Now, well, I did not receive any score. Why? Let me see. First, let me print a string in the player state. Sorry, print this. I want the string to print the current score. I think it could be this one is wrong, but let me see. Okay. Now Let me shoot the Amorak here. Oh, it is destroyed and still did not receive any score. Let's see why. This did not fire. Let's see, maybe let's print string here and see if this works. It is important to know where to debug. Let me see if I destroy it here. I remember. Just let me shoot it again. It is destroyed. Nothing. Okay. Well, the problem is that for some reason this interface here doesn't work. Everything here works, but this one does not work. If I move it here, it will work. I tested it when I paused the video and returned back to my old project. So what I will do is I will save this damage causer, put it to a variable here, and make it replicated. Or let me try another thing. Instead of saving it here, let me move this interface and put it here in the server destroy. Here, and the target here, put it in the custom event to pass the reference. Now let's get this damage causer and put it here. Now let's test. This should work. Well, it didn't work. So I will go back to the to the other method is to save the damage causer. Let me delete this one, and so delete this. Here, let's promote it to a variable, damage causer here, and make it replicated. I think the problem is that the damage causer is not able to load fast before we destroy the vehicle, so it is better to save it here and load it here, then call the interface here in the server destroy before destroying the vehicle. Now let's test. Well, it's scoring only on the server. Let's see why. Let's go for the where is the scoring system, the score here. It's sending it to the player control, to the player state. Then let's go back. Where is the player state here? I think we should get rid of this. Get rid of this boolean. And let's see. This should work because on the update score we already here. Where is the player controller? This one. We already check if the player is local. Now let's see on fire. Also the score is only for the server. Let me see why. I think the cause is because we did it. We sent the score to through the server here. Hello again. Well, I found the problem. I forgot to make a custom event that is replicated only to the local client and put this code in it. Now we are in the tank player state. Let me cut this code and make another custom event called client update score UI. Make it run on only a client only and reliable, and paste our code here. And let's comment on this, call it client update UI, and here also client update UI. Now this should work because everything was correct except for this, for the client update UI. Now let's start. I will use this client. First I will use this client and I will destroy this client. Let me move slightly forward. And also I will use the server first to destroy this client. I'll also move the server slightly forward. I will stop it here. I will shoot the tank. Now it is destroyed and the server has one score. Now let me choose the other client here. Where is it? Now I'll shoot the server, and the server should retain this one score when it resets and responds. And this is the benefit of saving the score on the player stage. Now it is destroyed. Well, is it now? It has the correct score, but there's another mistake we forgot. Here we need to pass the score value through this custom event to the owner and connect this here. So this will pass the score to the owner, the owning client only. So now it should work fine. Now let's test. Let me shoot this tank first. It is destroyed. Now we have one score. Let me move forward. I will shoot the tank again. It is destroyed. Now I have two points. I'll stop here and I'll use the server to shoot this tank. Now the server has one score and the other tank is destroyed, and when it responds it should retain the two. Now you see it has the 2 is retained. Now let me shoot this tank. It is destroyed. I have now 2 scores. Let's shoot the other client and see if it register his scores on the client action. Now it's working fine. So I will stop at this time and continue on the next video. In the next video we will continue making our tank, and in the next video we'll start making the how to create sessions and find sessions and join sessions. This we will do in the next videos. So thank you for watching. See you next time.